August 18th, 1944. The Falaise pocket, Normandy. The air smells of diesel and death. Smoke coils into the overcast sky, blotting out the sun over the rolling farmlands of northern France. The ground trembles under the rhythmic growl of engines, hundreds of them. Inside an American M4 Sherman tank named Lucky Lady, Sergeant Bill Tanner peers through his periscope. His crew has been fighting for 2 months straight since D-Day, and every man inside knows what's at stake. Ahead of them lies the shattered German retreat, the remnants of Panzer Group Eberbach, desperately trying to escape through the last open gap near Chambois. Tanner keys his radio. Alpha 6, this is Baker 3. We're seeing dust columns north of the orchard, probably armour. Orders? Static. Then a reply crackles through, calm but grim. Baker 3, hold your line. The pocket's closing. No one gets through. Across the field, on the opposite ridge, a German Panther tank watches from behind the trees. Inside, Lieutenant Karl Hoffner adjusts his binoculars, smirking as he spots the Shermans advancing in the distance. Idioten, he mutters. They send toys to fight machines. His loader laughs. Matchboxes on tracks. But as Hoffner scans the horizon, his grin fades. Dozens of Shermans are pouring into the valley, flanking from 3 directions. Overhead, the distant roar of Typhoon fighter bombers grows louder, their silhouettes swooping low through the smoke. Verdammt, Hoffner breathes. They're everywhere. Moments later, chaos. The first Typhoon unleashes its rockets. Flames bloom across the German line as explosions tear through trucks and fuel dumps. The ground shakes violently. Through the haze, Shermans advance in formation, fast, relentless, undeterred by the burning wrecks around them. Inside Lucky Lady, Tanner's gunner shouts, "Target front! Panther! 800 yards! AP round loaded!" the loader yells. "Fire!" The tank recoils violently. The shell slams into the Panther's side, ricocheting harmlessly. Tanner curses. Didn't even scratch it. The Panther pivots its turret, returning fire. A bright flash. The round slams into the dirt just meters short. Tanner wipes sweat from his face. "We'll dance with him, boys. Left turn, full throttle." The Sherman lurches forward, darting behind a hedgerow. Its thinner armour, once its greatest weakness, now makes it nimble, fast enough to reposition before the Panther can adjust. A second Sherman joins from the flank, firing another round, this time hitting the Panther's exposed rear. A fireball erupts. "Got him!" the gunner shouts. Tanner exhales, adrenaline surging. "Keep moving, they're not done yet." From the air, the Falaise pocket looks like a cauldron. German convoys trap between converging Allied forces. To the west, the Americans push east from Argenton. To the east, the Canadians drive from Falaise. South of them, the Poles block the last road out. The German army is trapped. General Paul Hauser, commanding the 7th Army, sends one last radio message to Berlin. "We are encircled, no fuel, no ammunition, the roads are impassable, the men are finished." By nightfall, the valley glows red. Thousands of vehicles burn, half buried in the mud, twisted like corpses. The invincible German war machine, once boasting superiority in every tank duel, is being drowned in fire and steel. And leading that tide are the Shermans they once mocked. August 19th, 1944. Just outside Chambois. The smell of burning oil mixes with the stench of death. Buzzards circle overhead. The landscape is unrecognizable. A graveyard of twisted tanks, trucks and horses. Captain Louis Karski, a Polish officer serving under the 1st Armoured Division, stands atop his Sherman, scanning the valley through binoculars. His men, exiles who fled Nazi occupation, now fight on the soil of their homeland's enemy. "They laughed at these machines," Karski mutters in accented English, patting the turret. "But today, it is their funeral pyre." Down the slope, columns of German infantry try to flee under cover of darkness. They march in silence, exhausted, starving, terrified. But the Allies are waiting. From the far ridge, the sound of engines echoes again. Dozens of Shermans rolling into position, their headlights blacked out, their crews tense and ready. The night is broken by a single command over the radio. Fire at will. What follows is pure annihilation. Tracer rounds streak through the dark like red lightning. Explosions ripple across the valley floor. German trucks burst into flame. The ground shakes as artillery joins in, shelling the only escape routes. Within hours, the entire Falaise pocket becomes a churning inferno. A Canadian officer watching from the ridge later described it as a scene from Dante's hell. Among the German survivors, discipline collapses. Some abandon their tanks and try to run through the hedgerows. Others raise white flags, only to be caught in the chaos. Inside Lucky Lady, Tanner's crew watches in stunned silence as hundreds of German soldiers stumble from the smoke. The gunner whispers, "Christ, look at 'em. It's over." But then, a voice crackles over the radio. "Panther, 2 o'clock, still moving." Tanner spins the turret. Through the periscope, Ishui, he sees a half-burned Panther crawling through the wreckage. Turret grinding painfully. Its cannon turns toward them, glowing faintly from heat. "Fire before he does," Tanner yells. The first round misses. The second slams into the Panther's lower hull. A gout of flame bursts from its hatches. Inside the burning German tank, Lieutenant Hoffner slams his fist against the steel. His driver screams as smoke fills the cabin. The air is unbreathable. Through the haze, Hoffner glimpses the Shermans advancing again. One after another, endless, unstoppable. He whispers, hoarse and disbelieving, "So this is how it ends." Moments later, his world dissolves into fire. By dawn, the fields of Falaise are silent, except for the low rumble of idling engines and the crackle of flames. The sun rises over the valley, revealing the scale of destruction. Over 10,000 German soldiers dead, 50,000 captured, and nearly 350 tanks and vehicles destroyed or abandoned. The Sherman, dismissed as a weak, clumsy machine, has become the hammer of retribution. In Berlin, reports of the defeat reach Hitler. Furious, he rants that his generals are cowards, that his precious Panthers failed, but his staff knows the truth. No amount of armour could have saved them. The Allies had learned to fight as one: armour, artillery, and air, with the humble Sherman at the heart of it all. August 22nd, 1944, Falaise, France. The rain falls gently now, washing the soot from the wrecks. The battle is over. Tanner steps down from his Sherman, boots sinking into the mud. Around him, soldiers from every Allied nation, Americans, Canadians, Poles, Britons, stand quietly among the ruins. He lights a cigarette with trembling hands. "Never thought I'd see the day," he murmurs. "Guess they stopped laughing." His commander, a grizzled major, nods. "They laughed at everything, Sergeant, until it rolled over them." In the weeks that follow, the Allied advance accelerates. Paris is liberated. The German front in the west collapses completely. And everywhere, from the hedgerows of France to the plains of Germany, the same green silhouette leads the charge: the M4 Sherman. Historians would later argue about its flaws, its light armour, its vulnerable fuel system. But none could deny its impact. It wasn't the strongest tank. It was the most available, the most reliable, and the most adaptable. Where the Germans built monsters, the Americans built armies. Years later, a captured German officer, when asked about the Shermans at Falaise, gave a simple answer: "We thought they were weak, but they never stopped coming." And that was the true terror of the Sherman. Not its gun, not its armour, but its persistence. Like the men who drove it, it refused to quit. As the Allied columns rolled east toward the Rhine, the German joke about matchboxes on tracks was dead. Now, even the Wehrmacht called it by another name: the Green Wave. And for those who faced it, it was the last wave they ever saw.